25 years ago, the community rebuilt the Mudgeeraba and Springbrook School of Arts Hall right here in the heart of Mudgeeraba. For decades prior, the hall had been used for weddings and church and community events and all of those activities that the community loved. What's most important about this hall is that it represents the history of the local area and the families that all worked together to rebuild it and still use it today.
For us, I think it's a gathering place. It's where people can come together and really encourage one another.
Whenever we had big events, we would come to the hall.
Today, the hall is used for exactly the same purpose. Community events, local churches meet here. It's a place that people love to come. But it's more than just a place that people meet and have activities. There's a history that's connected to the families of Mudgeeraba that rebuilt this building, and that's part of who we are as Mudgeerabarians. Pioneering families from all over the hinterland all chipped in to rebuild the hall 25 years ago. The Mudgeeraba and Springbrook School of Arts Hall is a place we all love, and I hope that you enjoy the stories you hear today in our short video.
There are two things that take part of the history of Mudgeeraba. The old Presbyterian church, which was built in 1891, but became the school in 1892. And the other part of Mudgeeraba that everybody knew was the Mudgeeraba Springbrook Memorial Hall, built in 1922.
My great-grandfather was William Duncan, first person into this district. So we've been here for a long time. Dad was a farmer, and he was a very good one. This community here has always been a fairly close one because you have, say, towns like Narang, which was split up the middle because of the railway and different things like that. This kept that whole community going from the very time it started out on the Franklin Drive out there on the Springbrook Road. And then moved into town when the railway came through in 1900 or 1899 or something. It was a very busy community. It had lots happening here, like it had timber, it had bananas, a big banana growing area, dairies.
The carrier would come from Springbrook, and the people at Springbrook would all have their orders for the butcher, the baker and the grocer wrapped up in a sugar bag.
That's what made it a popular place, you know, like with the community. They all seemed to work together.
The hall was the meeting place for everybody who had something important to do.
It became the hub of all things that happened in Mudgeeraba.
There were concerts, of course, big meetings, if you had farewells to do, anything that was important that had a big crowd to be with it, we came to the hall.
The dances were always Friday nights, and Saturday night was pictures, and it was quite fun.
Wood chopping was just over there, where the wood choppers is now. That was where the wood chops were.
And in October we had our Mudgeeraba show. They had horse sports down on the flat, and the hall was filled with flowers.
The smell of the hall when you walked in on show day of the flowers.
And cookery and knitting and crochet. The veranda on the side the walls were lined with the school children's work, and it would take us days to get the painting all done.
Just so beautifully set out, and it was just something you didn't see every day.
The Mudgeeraba Hall had the best dance floor in the whole district.
It was beautiful. It was made of crow's ash. Everybody came because it was such a beautiful floor to dance on.
We used to throw pops on the floor, sawdust on the floor, and the little kids would be dragging one another up and down the hall and that'd help sort of make it shiny.
Joan's dad, Campbell Duncan, he and Clary Hinns, they used to play their piano accordions. And you didn't have a dance band, you had the local boys, and everybody had a great time dancing. And you would do-si-die and all that sort of thing. And the girls all had skirts, and they would pull them out at the sides, and it was real fun.
The first time I walked in here, and there was a Miss Teenage competition on. Anyway, I won that, Miss Teenager. They started a Miss Hinterland competition on all of our hinterland halls around the place. And there was probably about 8 girls or something, all dressed up to the nth degree, gloves and all, and I won Miss Mudgeeraba. Quite formal affairs really. We had supper in the supper room. There was a Catholic ball, there was a Church of England ball, there was a Miss Hinterland ball, was a show ball, you know, so there was a lot of input from right across the community.
They'd have kitchen teas for the young people who were getting married, and everybody would come.
In 1966, we had our engagement party here in the hall, and we would get a present from the community and a presentation and congratulations and all the best.
I had come to playgroup at the Mudgeeraba Hall, and I would have been enrolled in ballet lessons at the Mudgeeraba Hall. So it was quite a big part of my life. I really loved the hall, and already at that age I really had an appreciation for how much my dad loved the hall. My dad was Ken Tandy, who was a really important member of the Mudgeeraba community. He was so dedicated to family, work and the hall. They were his 3 main purposes in life. Dad was a real estate agent, which meant that he got to know a lot of members of the Mudgeeraba community. My parents owned the building that was opposite the hall, and they lived there, and Dad ran his real estate business from there. And being caretaker for the hall, it was just a short walk across the street. I think it really anchored him to the community. It gave him the opportunity to give back. He took a lot of pride in it. You know, he was recognised through an OAM for his contribution to the hall. When we did ballet class, there were bars along the side and we would stretch. We would do choreography and on the main floor, and when we were ready we would go up onto the main stage to perform. We'd go into the back room, which is now the Ken Tandy room, named in his memory, which is very special. And we used to do theory and hang out and wait, you know, till it was our turn. Performing in the hall always felt special. I think for me there was that added layer of this being a special building. I always had a sense of respect for the building and something greater that I was part of.
In 1992, we had big centenary celebrations for our school. Anzac Day week was going to be a wonderful week for us all. But unfortunately, on Monday the 19th of April 1993, John Franklin died. I was very puzzled about that. How could John Franklin, the hero of our town, die? He was a world champion axeman. So he went out to cut some trees down to get some blocks for a wood chopping demonstration. When he was cutting the last tree down, he had an accident and died on the spot. The hero of our town died on the 19th of April 1993.
Life has to go on, Glenn. So, you know, it's not the end of the world when you lose somebody. You can fall in a heap if you like and feel very sorry for yourself, but I had all of my family around me, I had my friends around me. Anzac Day week is still very difficult for me. I can always remember they asked if John's horse could take place in the parade, and so here are all of the light horsemen dressed, and this horse that didn't have a rider. And I can still picture it, Glenn, and I'll never forget it. And that first Anzac Day, it was a drizzly afternoon. That was a Friday, and of course Friday night the hall burnt down.
This was a terrible week. It was going to be a wonderful week.
When this hall burnt down, it was just like, part of the community had just disappeared.
I remember having a sense of sadness and of loss, as I think many in the community did, and there was a sense of shock.
Before the Anzac Day service was finished, the rain stopped and the most beautiful rainbow appeared in the sky. It was almost like God said, "You've had enough, Mudgeeraba. Let's get on from here." It was an awful week, but it was the start of something really good. We had to build another hall straight away. Let's get moving. The chairman of the hall committee was a man called Ken Tandy. He set things going.
I was very proud that my dad was taking a really active role in rebuilding the hall, and I know that he worked really closely with other people in the community, and so it was nice to see that sense of teamwork.
And we went out and talked to all the good citizens of Mudgeeraba, found out ways of raising money and asked for donations. We opened the new hall, the brand new hall, on Anzac Day, 1995.
We as a family came along to the opening of the Mudgeeraba Hall, and obviously my dad was a big part of that.
But it was really wonderful to open the new hall, and everybody was thankful to those people who did the job. We made sure that when we built the new one, it had the best dance floor in the district.
When I was 15, I was hanging out with Dad, and he mentioned that there was a competition to design a logo for Mudgeeraba, and I'm a little bit creative, so I thought I would try my hand at that. So I thought about what Mudgeeraba meant to me, and I really tried to capture that in my design, and obviously it resonated because the design was successful. And so yeah, at age 15, my design was turned into, by very skillful people, turned into the beautiful logo which we now see as we come into Mudgeeraba. I continue to feel a sense of connection to Mudgeeraba in many ways, but including through my logo. When Dad was unwell, you know, I took on, and I loved taking on a lot of Dad's care, and part of that was taking on his role at the Mudgeeraba Hall, and so when he was unwell and then when he was in hospital, I would come and tend to the hall and the gardens, and that was also a special way of me expressing my love for him and the community in doing that. So I have nice memories here. They're all happy. There was a lot of significance in his funeral, and there was a beautiful turnout from the community. The memorial service was held in the hall was also a testament to his contribution to it. And I knew that he would have loved every moment of that.
The hall today is being used by just about everybody.
We run group fitness classes that are really fun and a little bit crazy. We now live stream our classes right here from the Memorial Hall. So, you know, everybody around the world gets to have a little piece of Mudgeeraba. For us, it's a real hub, like it's right in the centre of our community.
The Lions Club run a citizenship ceremony. We have our new citizens come to Mudgeeraba and they become Australians at the Mudgeeraba Hall. On earth we come, we share our dreams and sing with one voice. I am, you are, we are Australian.
The Darcy Doyle Awards were important to the community. It became so popular that they had to move to a bigger space, so they came to the Mudgeeraba Hall.
I had my 40th birthday here. We had Herb Armstrong DJ'd at our party right here in Mudgeeraba. So, you know, we've been to weddings here and school functions.
I believe that it's still a hub of the community. So many people use it. And it's a beautiful building, Glenn. It's not the same as it was, but it is a beautiful building with more facilities.
I think he would be very pleased with how it's been maintained. The people who have taken over its care show it just as much love as what he did. And as I understand it, it's still such a cornerstone of our community. And it was always important to him that it brought people together.
The hall is important to me because it just brings everyone together, and there's a place for people to come and just be free and enjoy themselves.
The Mudgeeraba Hall was important to us because of the access we had to it as well, and anything could happen here.
The memories that it evokes, the nostalgia that it brings, all that it's meant to me and my family growing up, and I really believe in its importance as part of bringing the community together and all that it offers to the community. I'm so pleased that it was rebuilt.
The Mudgeeraba Hall was important to me, Glenn, because that's where we held all of the social events in Mudgeeraba.
It really is the centre of Mudgeeraba. Whenever I see new people in the town, I tell them to visit the Mudgeeraba Memorial, to visit the Mudgeeraba Memorial Hall, and to visit the little church up in Springbrook Road. Mudgeeraba is a wonderful place, and this is the centre of it all, Mudgeeraba Memorial Hall.
It creates a community within our community of like-minded people, and community means safety and love and encouragement to me, so it's important.
We're trying to capture some of those memories so our children and their children's children can also remember how important this hall is, and in 100 years we'll still be remembering how great it is to get together as a community.
This place is just a wonderful place to be.